All right, welcome in. We are live, chat. We are live. And tonight we're just decompressing, I think, from the NBA season. What a season, chat. What a season. I don't know. What did Sam give it as a rating on the last one? I think he said it was all right. The entertainment value was there. The storylines were there throughout. I was getting clips. People were saying, I mean, you know, the meme of stuff is always, it's get hyped as it gets hyped up at the end of the year. The LeBron clips of him, you know, doing the little side eye, like peep, like is he? Are they looking at me? Do they see if I've got the foul? Trying to get the offensive foul move. So there was some definite comedy this year, chat, for sure. That one's like an all-time classic. Just, I mean, again, it's funny because I mean, it's kind of also LeBron at the perfect spot in his career to have that moment as well too. Like he's just. I mean, you know, he's kind of in his unk phase for his player as a player, chat. Hey, I guess I don't know if that's totally fair, but I mean, you know, he's definitely. I mean, his son's in the league, so you know he's definitely an older player. But yeah, he's always been a little bit of a goofier guy as well too. He's always had a goofier, corny side to him. And then the fact as well now too that he's like on the other side of the NBA career legacy point, where it's like, okay, this is all just extra credit at this point. It doesn't really. Oh, you know, silly LeBron peeping out. Or the offensive fouls. I don't even remember what their record was at that point. And was that even post Luka, chat? I mean, you know, at that point, it's like, oh yeah, the league is rigged, so it doesn't really matter if LeBron is drawing. He's getting the offensive foul. It's just all part of the script for him to be trying to look out and see if he's getting the offensive foul, anyways. But yeah, we did have also night 2 of the NBA draft last night, so we can get that pulled up here and go back through there. I was already locked in and ready to go watching night 2 of the draft, chat, and then we got to pick 38, and I realized, oh yeah, that's right, the Spurs traded that pick to the Pacers. The Spurs have nothing to do with night 2 of the draft, and I really have no idea what happened. It's just like unintentionally, intentionally, I don't know what happened, chat. What do you know? Once the Spurs had a pick, it was like, oh well, we're not locked in anymore. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Fleming went off the board. Rasheer Fleming, first pick, was one of those guys who's like, oh, you know, why did he slide out of the first round? But you know, right away, just Minnesota. I think they traded to Phoenix. I mean, Shams was even having a hard. Pause. Whoa! Shams was having a difficult time trying to. I feel like navigate all the trade stuff as well. I mean, not to say that he didn't know what was happening or whatever. Yeah, I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying there's a lot of moving parts, and Shams was like, wait a second, like, do I have all the pieces in place? This trade's going here. I mean, I'm getting news now. My phone's beeping. And it's like, oh, now all of a sudden this trade's on the move again. Some of these second-round picks were really hopping around. I mean, this one, Kalkbrenner here is labeled, obviously, Toronto via Dallas. But I feel like that 31 pick was had a bit of a history, chat. It traveled around. Hey, yo, that is for sure. But is he on? So he's on Phoenix. So Phoenix is going to be good, chat. They bulked up. They've got the front court players to go. I mean, they've already got the backcourt players, of course, with Booker and trading for Jalen Green, Bradley Beal, chat. Booker with Jalen Green and Bradley Beal. Oh, chat. What does this say here? Suns projected. Just projected cap space in general, I guess. But so it's like, okay, now they can always have another secondary playmaker next to Devin Booker, chat, right? Hey, yo, and maybe Beal as well. I guess Beal was your third option, either way. But Mark, I mean, individually, chat. The thing about this, and this was the thing about them when they were building this team with Durant as well too. Even when they got into the that's always been that's the confusing part. Not the confusing part, but that's the part I don't think that is fair sometimes, or just gets lost, or how do we necessarily work that into the dialogue? But it's like the moves when they traded for Beal, it's like, okay, this is an aggressive cap move here, but the moves that they made around the second apron, signing the minimum guys, like we thought that those were all good moves. We thought with the available minimum guys that they got. I remember Eric Gordon was the major signing that 1 year here. I guess we could go back and look at that team real fast. Who was the 8th man on the Suns a couple years ago? Chad, it matters. It matters because if they got the 8th man right, then Devin Booker never requested trade. That's where he hasn't even requested a trade yet. But we're, I guess, crystal balling it there for a second and seeing what's gonna happen. So yeah, a couple of seasons ago, chat. Let's go. Not this. I guess it would have been 2 years ago that they got swept by the T-Wolves. So no. 22-23 was the year that they lost to the Nuggets in the second round. Durant and Booker were definitely awesome in those 2 games. And I guess that was a little bit of the overlap too with again. So that would have been before Beal. I guess that's not necessarily the team we're looking for. So the team we're looking for is the team that got swept, chat. Ayo, but O'Neal as well too. I mean, even Bates Diop was kind of like meant to. Watanabe, chat. Hey, yo, where's Watanabe at right now? Is Watanabe just forgot? He's on Memphis, chat. Is that true? Here, we'll look up his contract. Yuta Watanabe quarter, chat. Hey, yo, shout out old REMINGTOM legend. Watanabe. There we go, chat. I don't think we got it right, but shout out Spotrack. I think it'll get us there. Yes, sir. He is on Memphis, so I guess he is he's inactive. Oh, I don't know. I guess do we go see what's going on with him, chat? But 30 sharpshooter. I don't know if the defense was necessarily there for him. I don't know. If Memphis is going to be the team, but as a veteran there. Still a forward type guy. I mean, who couldn't use Yuta? Yuta Watanabe on the Spurs, chat. We're gonna need a 13th man going into the. But Yuta Watanabe can't be the 13th man on a play-in team in 2026. I think we'd give him a chance, chat. Get me and Sam in a front office, and Yuta Watanabe has a job, chat. That's for sure. Make no mistake. It is what it is. But yeah, he was on that Suns team. Had a 2-year deal. It's like, okay, him as a sharpshooter in the corner. He's got the hey, yo, chat. Whoa, shout out to St. Elmo's Fire. But yeah, 6'9", chat. Yeah, he's again, it's like you get Durant and Yuta Watanabe and DeAndre Ayton out there together, or whatever the lineup was at that point. Nurkic, and then it's like, hey, is that good? Nasir Little, Bull. I mean, David Roddy, chat. They really went through the all-stars of just like the you can't necessarily say the blowout all-stars, chat, but you get what we're saying. Like the 30-point game all-stars, and that even sounds like that's more like that's what Shea is. Shea's a 30-point all-star. The game is a 30-point lead in the 4th quarter. David Roddy's checking in, chat, and he's balling out. It's like the Suns gave all those guys a chance to be in their lineup, and it was kind of a nice. Okay, there's something here with this mix of guys. If Durant and Booker can, and maybe everybody just points their fingers at Bradley Beal as well too, chat. Bradley Beal in 53 games, he's still somehow 51% from the field, 43% from 3, chat. 18 points a game. Really, it has been what's his 2.5 turnovers, I guess, for maybe his what's like the turnover to dribble ratio for Bradley Beal, because he's doing a lot of off scoring as well too, with the lineups that he was on there for a second. But there was obviously some big turnover possessions there, and especially this most recent versions of the team where they were a little lacking on the point guard depth as well too. And is it this Minnesota series? I guess it would have been their last playoff series that they were in, Chad. So is it the Minnesota series? There's obviously, and maybe we're not going to look back at the Bradley Beal history to try to uncover that game, but there is a playoff game in there where you don't want to necessarily go back and look at that 4th quarter, and it's there's some stuff in there that is unfortunately not great for Beal Suns tenure. But it's like, okay, and I remember why you're just watching that, chat, and you're just it's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this is actually happening. Like, Beal is, again, the contract stuff is already bad enough, like, and it's not even just becomes you're just cheering for the guy in the moment, chat. You what the storylines are going to be, and the talk and the conversation. You're like, Bradley Beal, just throw your phone throw your phone right now, because it's not going to be good when you get into the locker room. Just have somebody put it in a safe away for a couple days. But like, the efficiency is still there, chat. Are we buying Sun stock? Are we buying Sun stock going into the offseason? We don't even know they don't even have moves going into the offseason. They got the ability to maybe sign some guys in the minimum contracts, because the league's like, okay, well, you have to have a certain amount of guys in your roster, so we'll let you sign a couple. But other than that, it's not great. Do they still have? Where's Bull at as well too? Yuta Watanabe and Bull. I mean, I still believe in that team, chat. I feel like Sam maybe as well too. And I'm not even saying I retroactively like, let's go back and play the 2022-23 season. Like, hey, that Suns team was kind of nice. I'm saying in 25-26, chat, going into next year, run it back, bring back. You can't necessarily trade back for Durant. Obviously, he doesn't want to be there, but bring back Bull, chat. Hey, he's still there. Yeah, bring him back. you don't want to necessarily lose Bol. The 1 year, $2 million. I guess the problem is giving the guys the raise. I guess he went a minimum contract 1 point. All right, chat, starting over. He had a minimum contract 1 year, $2.165 million, and then last year 2.4250403. Whoa, but so like a slight raise, but I don't know. There is a little bit of a rule in there. Maybe it's changed as well too, since the minimum contract guys is a little more important with the second apron in the mix. But yeah, Chet, bring back Bol, Mark Williams, and Maluwaj. I mean, that's a front line, Chet. That's a front line. I think, was it Shams that said, I mean, maybe we should just start there, Chet, because again, we were reacting to Cooper Flag going #1 in the moment. Shams is out here saying that Nico Harrison has built the best front court in the NBA, which is just that's just a great, I don't know if it's a great take by Shams or if it's just, I don't even know what it is, Chet, but because it's like Nico Harrison built this front court, but he built it by, again, he traded Luka Doncic, who technically a guard, but also, a more of a wing-ish guard as well, too. So he could be a front court player, but in the award stuff, he's going to be more of a backcourt player. But yes, Davis is a forward center, and Luka's a forward, and Cooper Flag's a forward. But it gets like, okay, well, you gave up Luka for Davis, and then, you lucked into Cooper Flag. So did Nico Harrison build this team, or what's happening? It's obviously a great front line, chat. I don't know. And Tatum's hurt as well too, so Jaylen Brown and Tatum, not even as a player, I guess, because Brown is more, especially now. I feel like when they first entered the league, it was obviously Tatum's more of a 3, Jaylen Brown's more of a 2, but I feel like now Jaylen Brown's more of a 3, Tatum's more of a 4 at this point. And the guys in the NBA, they enter the league when they're 18, 19 years old. Like we saw with LeBron, Tatum, the guys just get more. They round out, chat. Hey, they fill out as players. And Tatum, it's like, okay, well, now he's a 4. Brown's more of a true wing. So as a front court, that's a kind of a true front court duo there. And then, they don't have Porzingis anymore. So Tatum, Brown, and Niang, chat. Hey, I don't know if that, Niang really, I don't feel like Niang's doing a lot of work there in that trio. But if you have to get a third guy on the graphic, I guess he's the one in the mix. I guess, is Horford still on the team, or is he technically a free agent? Cornette? Once they re-sign Cornette, Tatum, Brown, a healthy Tatum, Brown, and Cornette, chat, you're still probably taking that front line over anyway. I mean, also, I guess Jalen Williams kind of is a little bit of a hybrid player, guard, forward, maybe even a little, because, well, we got a little height comparison, chat, between Jaylen Brown and Jalen Williams. I feel like, I don't know, something about Jalen Williams' physique, he just looks a little more guardish than a guy like Jaylen Brown. Like him and Dort are both kind of the same build, obviously. Maybe there's something to that like bulldozery type build, chat. But maybe we need to give Bonzi Wells a chance again. I don't know what happened to the Bonzi Wells career there, but yeah, he was one of those first, like, wait, he's like 6'5", but he's a power forward center, but he can also be like a 3-point center type guy as well too. A little Draymond-y, chat. Bonzi Wells, I don't know if he had the defensive ability there, but yeah, Jalen Williams. So you could go Jalen Williams and Chet as well too, and Hartenstein. I mean, Jalen Williams, Chet, and Hartenstein. If you're making Jalen Williams a forward in that conversation, like that's a great front line. Paolo and Franz as well too for players. I mean, and again, you're getting Davis as more of a center. So what does that mean for the front court versatility version of the conversation? And Harper is a guard as well too, so Wemby doesn't necessarily have the forward companions or the center companions at this point. They're not giving Charles Bassey a chance, chat. So we can't necessarily say that it's Wemby and Charles Bassey at this point as well. But yeah, definitely an aggressive thought by Shams, that's for sure. But chat, where'd the mic cover go? I feel like we had it when we started, but did it just randomly? Oh, it's just sitting on our jacket. Whoa. Okay, blending in there, chat. But okay, we're back. But yeah, I mean, it definitely has a chance to, be in the conversation, for sure. Make no mistake. But I don't know how we got from the Suns. Oh, the front court, back court. Oh, Maluwaj, Bol, and Mark Williams. Check all three of those guys play together. Bol, playmaking and shooting threes and, I don't know, spacing the floor maybe. But, yeah, I mean, again, the Suns, like, they made the team has obviously fallen off a little bit. But that early first couple of moves they made, like, you have to be honest about the perception of the team in the offseason, in the moment. Like, okay, if we were running a poll version, like just a general public version, that everybody's running this team and we're just doing Twitter polls voting on what moves the Suns are signing. Like, you know what, Eric Gordon might win the Twitter poll. Watanabe might have won the poll back in the day. Like, they would have maybe the Bradley Beal trade. I don't know if they make that trade. But, that was a tricky one, chat. I mean, not necessarily a tricky one, but it was a tricky one because, I mean, the Chris Paul contract on the other side was non-guaranteed as well, too. So, the way it's like, the way you're able to trade for a locked-in contract for a non-locked-in contract, like, it's a little bit of a trap. But we should mention as well, too, we got a little WNBA on the background. Chat, the WNBA, I'm not going to lie, WNBA is going to be clutch in the summer here, right? Because, I mean, I feel like we had a good little run of some, like, Olympic tournaments, and I just feel like the last couple of years, post-COVID, trying to catch and get everything back in order. And maybe just like, okay, now because maybe with the COVID years, kind of everything being slowed down, it's like now we're back to normal in a way. But we don't really have any big sort of summer tournaments this year. No disrespect to Vegas Summer League, chat, but we don't really have any aggressive international we don't have any international basketball tournaments in that type of way, or big events. So we're really gonna get to lock in, chat. It's gonna be a fun season, and we've got Fever versus the Wings, and I mean the Fever just were on fire in the first quarter. They're still winning pretty dominantly right now. It's a minute 48 left in the second quarter. They're up by 15. And there is no Caitlin Clark tonight. We need to get an update on Caitlin. I mean, we don't really need to get an update because, shout out, there's somebody at work that just will always have updates on Caitlin Clark. They're like, Caitlin Clark is, and I mean, shout out. But it's like, okay, is this guy like Woj? Like, is he tapped in? Does he know a family member? I guess they don't have the injury information. He was saying something about a suspension as well too. He was like, she got suspended for fighting people. So who knows if that's true or not. We'll see what happens. Yeah, she's just out tonight with an injury. So yeah, suspension unconfirmed, chat. This person's been updating us with suspension fighting allegations. Caitlin Clark is fighting everybody in the league, chat. I think there's been some highlights, but we're locking. I mean, we were NBA Finals, NBA Draft there for a second, so we were a little tunnel vision at the end of the season. But I mean, again, right away, chat, was like the first play they ran. They had a little Aaliyah Boston at the top of the, at the elbow, kind of running some action on the opposite side of the floor, and then it ended up in like a Kelsey Mitchell screen dribble pull up type three, really. And not to say not the type of look that you wouldn't get with Caitlin Clark on the court, but it was a great, and again, we have to shout out, they do have a new coach this year, so I don't know. I guess they're 7-8 right now. Again, we haven't necessarily been locked in on the whole season at this point. Chat, we're locking in. We're catching up. Hey, we're not watching baseball, so this is more baseball than we're watching, chat. But outside of, I guess, the UFC events as well too, because I mean Topuria Oliveira should be. I guess Topuria is obviously Topuria. He's obviously at the peak of his powers right now, so that could be a little bit of a changing of the guard moment if it's not already happened. But it could be Oliveira gets back in the bag and just has one last great performance. I don't know. I think Topuria is pretty well rounded. I don't know his wrestling skill. I just can't say knowledgeably his wrestling skills. Obviously, as a stand-up fighter, he's pretty gifted. But I just can't speak on it. So that's where Oliveira would strive if it would necessarily, I think, go somewhere tomorrow night. But I don't even want to look at the odds, chat. Hey, yo. Everybody loves Topuria. Topuria is a great new sort of next star for the UFC, as Pereira just goes down, and like, okay, Topuria is sort of the next guy on the, I guess I don't know if he's got the longest active streak or whatever, but I guess Islam as well too. Ayo, but Topuria definitely is up there with the dominance right now. But Olivier is also a, beloved UFC guy as well too. So I think it's just like an honorable match is I think the best outcome for that one. But yeah, again, Wings Fever chat. This could have been Paige Beckers versus Caitlin Clark. Aaliyah Boston versus Caitlin Clark. Aaliyah Boston versus Aaliyah Boston versus Caitlin Clark would not be good. Aaliyah Boston versus Paige Beckers. Aaliyah Boston and Arika Gumbawale head to head is still a marquee matchup. And we're gonna have to lock into the Wings chat. Hey 4-12. I mean, you got Paige Beckers as a rookie. There's gonna be some time. We don't know necessarily the rest of the pieces as well too. Oh, Beckers with a nice little buzzer beater at the halftime, chat. They cut it to 13. That's honestly not bad. I don't know if we have to pull up that game and go to like the game flow chart. This is a little Pacers-esque here, chat. I guess Wings not Fever, but either way, one of the teams are making the comeback. But yeah, it was like 33 to here. Can we get WNBA scores? Oh, what else do we got? Dream versus the Link. Oh well, I mean the Link. If we know one, it's kind of close. The Dream chat, a feisty team, of course, but the Link are 12-2, dominant, 10-5 for the Dream. I think I mean, it's not even a hot take at this point. They might turn into one of the better teams. 6-1 at home. That makes sense, chat. Again, the veterans on the floor for that team being good in their own environment definitely that would make that team competitive. But Collier with 13 points tonight, just continuing her tear for sure. And a little Sky Valkyrie, the Valkyrie at 7-7. Expansion team, that's not bad. What do they got for Thornton? 15 points a game for the leader for that team, and I think this is just gonna be the season leaders here, not necessarily the team leaders. I want to say they got Kate Martin as well too on that team, of course. Former Caitlin Clark teammate. Oh, no Cardosa tonight, unfortunately. Yes, estimated. July 8th. Hey chat, Cardosa out for a second. That's not ideal, I would guess. If you're Sky at 4-10's got to be a little bit of a bummer as well too. And Golden State, I guess I had 2-6 on the road. Golden State minus 8.5 tonight. Hey, the expansion team, chat. Golden State, Silicon Valley. They probably had ChatGPT tell them who to draft in the expansion draft. I bet if we ask ChatGPT we should draft, should we ask it for the NBA? Because if we ask it for the WNBA, it could obviously give us an updated, because I think the WNBA would still want to expand, and obviously the league is still looking to grow going forward. But the NBA, I think, is the most, well, I guess, again, we can't say the most immediate expansion, but the most the less recent expansion to happen, because it could just, because I guess, again, the point is it could just be like, well, here is the most recent expansion teams for the WNBA, so this is obviously the best expansion teams, or the ones that you would take. But what would it say necessarily for the NBA here? Let me get logged in and see what we've got cooking. I don't know if it'll give us just 5, if it'll give us sort of a option here, chat, which I guess is something to definitely look for now in every offseason, because of the fact that it's being ramped up in the business side of things, definitely now that it's being brought up in meetings, and definitely after this new CBA entered the conversation in a real way. Okay, here we go, chat. Let's see what we got. Let's see if this is a real way. Well, I guess the point is, let's see if this is how the Valkyrie actually could have built their expansion team. Who should... We'll just pretend like we own the team, obviously. I guess ChatGPT, it's still a little behind, so maybe it's not great. I guess if we're running an NBA team, we probably paying for premium ChatGPT, where you logged in the free ChatGPT version and you try to cook up a draft board. But it's like, okay, you can't even pay for the premium. You need a couple more season ticket holders, and then we can get premium ChatGPT to build up this team. Get that lower bowl filled out, chat, and then next thing you know, this is advanced analytics in the modern NBA. But who should we draft in? We're just going to pretend like it's actually happening. The NBA expansion draft. And let's see what it says. But obviously it's going to be like, well, we don't know who's protected. Who's unprotected and all that different. Hey, whoa. But In terms of for expansion team drafts, chat, Trey Jones, Monty Morris, Dosunmu. There's no way they're getting Dosunmu. Yeah, it's going to give us too many options, chat. Well, you know, somebody to draft from for sure. Definite list. Oh, is this the team right here? Cam Reddish? Hey, yo, chat. Is Sam cooking up on the chat GPT? He might be. This is low-key kind of a Sam team right here, chat. Neesmith. Yeah, I mean, ChatGPT is a couple years behind, obviously. After this finals, you know, I guess, is he a free agent this year? But assuming he isn't, assuming he's still under contract for the Pacers, there's just no way that Neesmith is not one of the 7 guys that were protected. I mean, you know, even, you know, Halliburton hurt, but Halliburton, Siakam, you're definitely still even protecting, you know, Matherin, McConnell if he's under contract, Turner obviously, Nembhard, and then Neesmith is probably the next one right there. Like, I'm probably forgetting somebody, Chad. Johnny Furphy, but even him or Walker. So maybe, you know, Johnny Furphy in the Sam Hauser spot, but Watford for sure, Chad. Watford's definitely on our expand. Watford, if we can get Dosunmu, Watford, and Cam Reddish year 1, I mean, we're probably not as good. You know, shout out to the Valkyrie again. They maybe are just able to build a better team. I mean, if we could get Neesmith as well too, like that'd be great. But again, we're not getting Neesmith. But yeah, Cam Reddish. I guess we just sign him. We don't even need to draft him off a team, chat. But yeah, Watford. You know, with the way the Brooklyn Nets drafted, they just drafted 4 or 5 guys. But when they protected, imagine you just drafted 5 guys in the first round, the expansion draft. They're like, you know what? We're actually not going to protect anyone. That's okay. We're good to go. You can have Danny Wolf. So we're taking Danny Wolf as well too, chat. We got Danny Wolf, Trendon Watford. I guess. Oh, but you're getting like you can only take guys from or 1 guy per team. So now the war room has to decide, chat. Maybe we should have just cooked that up for tonight. Just expansion draft update 2025. But now we have to have a debate on Trendon Watford. Where's Watford at, chat? Is he Watanabe? I forgot about Watanabe. Hey, yo. Shout out the old research. Watanabe is definitely on the team as well, too. But again, we can... Yeah, so he is on Brooklyn. So, hey, yo, chat. We'd have to really decide Trendon Watford or Danny Wolf. I feel like, depending... If we get Sam Reddish and... who are a couple other guys there, chat. You know, Mo Bamba, maybe? I don't know. But if we get Cam Reddish, then Sam would definitely be willing to make an exception for a player that maybe he's not totally in on. So I don't know if he's not necessarily out on Danny Wolf, but I don't feel like he hasn't necessarily taken a strong pro Danny Wolf stance. We should say, anyways. That's for sure. But, yeah, Chad, so I don't really... Are we even going through the draft at this point? Sky versus Valkyrie. Shout out. That is a little bit later. But we should actually see what happened in this here real quick. Oh, yeah, first round, obviously, as we were live. So, you know, if you guys want to see us live, first round NBA draft, we were live for that a couple of nights ago. Flag, of course, won. You know, the best front line in the NBA, chat. Hey, yo. They don't have a comp for him on here. I guess, you know, no Dennis Rodman comp for Cooper Flag. Dylan Harper. And there is some, of course, I mean, you know, as offseason storylines sort of begin to buzz. Like, I guess here, let's see what the early Rookie of the Year odds actually are, chat. And the Dylan Harper Cooper Flag debate. Because that is still like Davis, you know, that's obviously a great teammate to have year 1. And having a star teammate does not take away from Rookie of the Year the way it may. You know, you start getting to MVPs, it's like, okay, do your stars take away from each other? But, you know, having Davis next to Cooper Flag is not necessarily going to take away from Cooper Flag's really productive rookie season if he's just awesome. And if anything, again, with the Mavs storylines this year, it's like if Cooper Flag is awesome, then, you know, he's just going to get... or if the Mavs take a step forward, and even if Cooper Flag is like, kind of in a role player-y type role. Like you mentioned, like, oh, you know, Cooper Flag has brought all the additive stuff to the team. Cooper Flag's defense and playmaking and connective stuff has elevated all the Mavs. And I would totally believe it as well, too, Chad. I'm not saying it wouldn't be true. I'm just saying, again, the rookie storylines for being successful, for Rookie of the Year are obviously different. But I think the same stuff is in play with Dylan Harper, and I think again, the Mavs were kind of, it's not that they were a good team once they traded Luka, but they were still a 7-8 seed, like a low end play-in team. They weren't healthy as well. I mean, that's obviously going to just be a big question with the Mavs. It's going to be health going forward, but they weren't healthy. If they were fully healthy, maybe they're a little bit more competitive. And again, Cooper Flagg might make the team better, but how much does he actually raise the ceiling of the team in year one? Again, I'm not trying to doubt him too much here, but how much pressure do you want to put on a rookie as well too, year one, to carry the team? And maybe he's just awesome as well. I'm not doubting any of the storylines, but there is also a chance where there's a very similar record, same spot in the playoffs, and again, the overall team improvement. It's like, okay, the long-term future is better, but the immediate impact is still there. Where Dylan Harper, the Spurs could win maybe more games than the Mavs next year. And it's like, well, okay, obviously the Dylan Harper addition to that was a big case. Maybe Fox for a full season, if he ends up sticking around next year or this upcoming year, is, he's like 25 a game, third team, second team All NBA conversation there with Wemby as well too. Like, it's not out of the table. Steph Castle is awesome, but it's easier to see Dylan Harper immediately being credited. I guess again, it's easier to see Cooper Flagg as well too, raising the ceiling of the Mavs. I'm not saying that, but it's easy. It's also, I think, to me, equally as easy to see Dylan Harper get credited, I guess is what I'm saying, with the Spurs elevation this year versus where the Mavs could still, team success-wise, be kind of similarly. And chat, they have Ace Bailey and Trey Johnson, both with higher odds over Dylan Harper. I mean, chat, get on Dylan Harper 12-1 right now. There's no way that's not the lowest. It is all, entire. I guess he's only got 1 year to win Rookie of the. Well, hey, Chef, man, we just jinxed the man. But I guess whatever happens, you still only have 1 year to win Rookie of the Year. Once you step on the court for the opening tip of the first game of the NBA season, you're not a rookie at that point. If you play 2 minutes, premature subulation. Yeah, I don't know what the term for it is, but it's like, okay, this pick is not working out 2 minutes in, and you just hit the bench and you never see the court again that rookie year. It's like, oh well, I guess his Rookie of the Year odds are over, Chad. It didn't work out for him. But Ace Bailey and Trey Johnson, I guess, could Trey Johnson... Hey, Chad, we got to take a sip of the drink here. This Trey Johnson thing is crazy. I could see... I mean, again, he has a path. Washington is an open team. It's a team that needs a guy to go in there and generate some offense for him. And if they, again, have offense and that immediate impact, it's easy to see, like, oh, well, it's Trey Johnson that brought that to the team. But the Wizards are probably going to be bad as well, too. Like, is Trey Johnson... I'm lining all this stuff up for all these guys to be better than Dylan Harper. Bulletin board material for everybody in the draft behind Dylan Harper. Hey, it is what it is. Everybody tune out right now. But, Trey Johnson is... is he going to be like 45% from the field next year? Again, does that stuff matter for Rookie of the Year? But if it gets competitive, maybe that stuff matters as well, too. I guess the case being as well, the Eastern Conference is weaker, but is it so weak that the Wizards are going to make the playoffs, Chad? Is that what we're looking at in the East? I don't know if that is necessarily, have we gotten that far? But Ace Bailey at plus 850 is kind of crazy, Chad. And I'm not saying that, again, I feel like watching the highlights, but watching the highlights kind of not necessarily, I'm not anti being pro Ace Bailey. Does that make sense, Chad? Whoa. I'm not anti being pro Ace Bailey, but for him being the second, for him in the odds to be the second guy would mean that there's a guaranteed him playing this as well too. Where again, I would assume that Dylan Harper is, well, maybe they're looking at the other way. Like, is Dylan Harper going to play? Steph Castle and Fox are going to be there in the lineup. But again, I think all three of those guys can play together because we're not trying to be a title team this year. We're just trying to have as many good players around Wembanyama as possible in cohesive lineups. And maybe there is weird cohesion with all those guys and not necessarily great three-point shooting. But again, we just saw with the Thunder, if you have some defense, if you have some individuality in the creation, you can get away with some of this stuff, and they may actually have that in San Antonio. And that's another thing for Trey Johnson, where, again, like, is he going to have the shot creation around him to help elevate his game? Like, if he goes in there, and maybe that's why he's second, because if he goes in there and he really raises the ceiling of that team, then it's like, oh man, like, he's really doing a lot of work here. And again, I really like this Wizards team as a group of guys that can be a group of guys around somebody, and maybe Trey Johnson is that somebody, chat. But I kind of also think that Trey Johnson is a piece again of that as well too. And again, maybe that's your backcourt going forward. So if you're thinking, I just like, who are the great guards in the league? But it's like, okay, if we, 6 years from now, we're trading for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or whatever, whatever it is, chat. I don't know if you start building that sort of trade package in the future if you're the Wizards. But, again, whoever, Donovan Mitchell or whatever. I feel like the guard position, it's a little weird. There's, of course, I feel like fewer names you could talk yourself into to, okay, this guy could actually be the peak guy on a team. But, Brunson wants to mix it up in the East Coast there in a couple years, even though obviously he's not going to leave New York. But, or Halliburton, who are the names? None of these guys are going to leave. But, we can't necessarily, again, guarantee that. But, again, maybe that's your backcourt, but maybe Johnson is also the center bit. Like, he's kind of the perfect, is he a Jalen Green-esque type guy for this team as well, too? I don't know if, they're flipping him into Durant. Maybe it's all going to work out for having Jalen Green as that number 3 overall pick. But for him to be like, okay, we need a bucket getter on this team as we're developing this group of guys, but also he could be the guy that other teams talk themselves into as the trade package guys will do. Because again, like, I'm looking at Trey Johnson, Bub Carrington, like, who are guys surrounding superstars that are going to be, like, I kind of like Bub Carrington equally as a second, not second guard, but, maybe even first guard around a star player. Like, if Giannis is the low-key name, or if Jokic if Stan Kroenke just wants to trade Jokic to the Wizards for some reason because he wants to save some money. I don't know why Stan Kroenke needs to save money by trading Jokic. Hey, yo. But, if that's the move that he's like, okay, well, let's turn him into Alex Sarr and not necessarily pay the luxury tax. Like, Jokic next to, if Bub Carrington is the Jamal Murray next to Jokic or the guard next to the dominant front court, but like, I kind of think he has that, again, that's like, what level is that? Because Jamal Murray's also never been an all-star as well, too. So he's definitely played at an all-star level in the playoffs. And again, been a really great guy. So I guess is Bub Carrington going to score 27 points a game in the playoffs or something crazy like that, But again, just could he be a competent league? Maybe Jalen Suggs level impact on a team. Jalen Suggs was even great impact for the Magic. But the Wizards' overall upside as a team this year, as much as you love the talent there, for him to be second as well too. We just need to make sure that we know why Dylan Harper obviously needs to be second in these odds. Cooper Flag at he's basically minus 200. Chat is crazy. I don't know if Cooper Flag's summer league, is that even going to be a thing? Dylan Harper's summer league, honestly, at this point, it's like, okay, if he plays, it's fine. And that's almost the nice thing about teams having multiple first round picks now as well too. It's like, okay, the guarantee that, I guess the teams that didn't get picks are not going to have anybody in Summer League, but the guarantee that we actually have somebody in Summer League? Hey, yo, chat. Now, I guess that's really for the true degenerates like ourselves. What percentage of NBA fandom is like, yes, I have a guy that we can lock in for Summer League? Hey, yo, speaking of, I'm not going to lie. If Bub Carrington, he might be too good for Summer League, chat here. Let's see is he going to play like one of those mini Summer Leagues and then not actually play in the Vegas Summer League? Let's see here. Bub Carrington Summer League. I think last year, last year kind of fun, but will he play again this year? I guess there's no immediate now. He hasn't locked it in early, chat. It might be sort of a last second decision to bring him in. Let's see. Did he even get to 40% from the field as a rookie, chat? Let's see what we have for our guy Bub Carrington. Oh, how do we doubt him, chat? How do we doubt him? He's sitting at 40.1%. Not 41. 40.1. Barely over 40. 9.8 points a game. But I'm telling you, Chad, Jamal Murray, 2.0. Bub Carrington, maybe not the best comp. 6'4", I guess Jamal Murray is kind of that 6'4" range. 6'4", 190. I think Jamal Murray definitely better, of course, three-point shooter in college. Just different type of player again as well too, sort of the off-ball stuff, and then it was like, oh well, he's got the on-ball creation as well too, and that was sort of the deciding factor between him and Buddy Hield in a lot of the conversation. I think Buddy Field might be a character in a To Be original that we cook up, chat. Buddy Hield, shout out, was of course, the guy that was being debated about back with Jamal Murray in the draft. But Buddy Field, I don't know, is Buddy Hield maybe Buddy Field? It's like a Nutty Professor basketball version, and Buddy Field is like the All-Star version, or I don't know if Buddy Field's the All-Star version. Buddy Love is the All-Star. Maybe a Nutty Professor basketball version. It could work, chat. I mean, that might be even a 2000. I guess, what are the rules for what's the time, restrictions for remaking a movie? I don't even know if they exist anymore. But the Nutty Professor is iconic the right term, chat? I think it is. I think a classic. It's a classic. A Tubi classic, a Pluto classic. But, is it not necessarily even a remake? Again, sort of a spin-off or an inspired by. Is it ready to sort of start a whole new branch of dual personality comedies, and the hiding the personality and the awkward and the cool one and the dynamic of that, the all-star basketball player, and then the 40% 3-point shooter? Who is the Nutty Professor? Maybe that needs to be an award, chat. Maybe we should have cooked up some. We should have done a lot of things in that chat. Maybe we should have cooked up some awards like that. The Nutty. Pause. But the Nutty Professor. Or maybe we just call it the Buddy Love. The Buddy Love Bipolar Award, chat. Who is the most Buddy Love Bipolar Player of the Year? Ooh, it's just like night to night. It's like, okay, this guy one night is maybe you know what? Dame Lillard is a little Buddy. He was a little Buddy Love this year, chat. I mean, was he a little less Buddy Love than he was a little bit? Oh, chat. What's the name? Hey, yo. What's the name of the other guy in Nutty Professor as well? Because are the Clumps the Nutty Professor, or is that a different? The characters, chat. It's like which movie are all these guys? We just need especially now 2020, the technology to sort of. We just had Michael B. Jordan play two versions of himself in Sinners, so Eddie Murphy needs to bring it back and play just every version of every character. Axel Foley and Buddy Love and just all of it. The guy from Boomerang, chat. What's his name? Boomerang. Actually, I don't even know if I know any of their. Boomerang. They don't have fake names in Boomerang, chat. Their character names in Boomerang are Eddie Murphy, Robin Gibbons, and Halle Berry. I think that's actually just what it is built on the cast. It's honestly just how I just watched that movie and go, yeah, that's just Eddie Murphy and those people just hanging out. But yeah, what's his name is it Clump? Oh yeah, so he is Clump, Sherman Clump. So I think Dame Lillard a little more Sherman Clump than he was Buddy Love this year, chat, but he was a guy, it's like, okay, is Dame Lillard going to be 1 for 10 or is he going to be 7 for 10? What's going to score 20 in the second quarter, or maybe even quarter to quarter he was a little like, okay, what's going to happen with Dame Lillard? But shout out, chat, you'd love to have him next year. If you have Lillard next year in Milwaukee, if you have Lillard back for the playoffs, I mean, maybe lock it in at that point that they're going to make the finals. But the Nutty Professor is a parody of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? Huh. I guess I never realized that, chat. I mean, I guess I never honestly think about the 63 remake. No disrespect, chat. Again, I feel like, for me, I feel like I do a decent job of like, okay, obviously I'm watching the one from the 90s, but there is the one from the 60s and the one from the, like we can keep them all in line and be like, yeah, I stand on business on the one I watch. But the 63 one is one that I need to shout out again, Jerry Lewis, but it just never gets on. But I feel like it might have actually been the 63 one might be a low key sort of Pluto classic as well too, because that might be on like the 60s throwback channel or something like that. That I feel like I have actually thrown that on at one point. That's a grandma's house classic, chat. What's a good just safe movie to throw on here? 1963 Nutty Professor, perfect. But and I guess the scenes that we watched, they held up, chat. There no canceling in those scenes. It wasn't like, oh, now all of a sudden Buddy Love's making crazy moves here. So, Buddy Love's got to take down some player guy who's like getting too aggressive, and it's like, oh, whoa, what's happening in the 60s? But yeah, that's definitely IT. Write that down. That's a word. Maybe it just is awards based on characters that Eddie Murphy plays. But I feel like, then there's going to be like a Denzel character that we're going to want to get mixed in. A Gene Hackman character. I guess, Gene Hackman, Coach of the Year. Coach Carter, Coach of the Year. The Gene Hackman who turned the small town team around. Maybe Rick, I guess, we might have made that comparison in the finals, chat. Because, Indiana. We were talking about Jimmy Chitwood joining the Pacers team. So I'm sure it definitely came up. But Rick Carlisle could definitely be the Coach Dale Coach of the Year award. Maybe. I don't know. I feel like maybe Coach Dale, there might not be a Coach Dale every year in the NBA. I feel like last year maybe Kenny Atkinson would have been a little bit, just because again with the way the win total rose for the Cavs. And the Pacers, again this year they were more of the push was in the playoffs, not necessarily in the regular season. So maybe that kind of proves the point as well too of them being sort of the underdog team. But as a veteran sort of coach as well too, like there is definitely a lot of younger guys coaching at this point. There's no what happened to where's the comb over coaches, chat? What happened to the class of comb over coaches? We need to bring those guys back because I don't know if we need to bring back every piece of their personality, but it's like, oh, this was the guy that was on the sideline for. And again, it's like, well, why is that guy in the sideline? I'm not bringing it. I understand the conversation there, chat, but a couple of those, and maybe we're obviously, we had the best sort of old white guy coach of all time as well too, Coach Popovich. I mean, we're not necessarily allowed to categorize Coach Popovich elsewhere, chat, but I'm sure Pop is accepted by a wide variety of cultures, chat. But obviously, old white guy coaches, Pop again is the number one guy. So we were definitely spoiled in that aspect. But, Thibodeau's out, chat. I don't even, who's left? And Thibodeau's not even really old as well, too. Like, I mean, he's, shout out. He's obviously a veteran NBA coach. But I wouldn't consider him, like, did I say George Karl's names already, chat? That's definitely one of the old guys I could think of. Hey, yo. Shout out George Karl. I don't know. It's George Karl still with us? I think he might be. But when I think old, just like okay, the old, just like balding, white hair, just classic old man look, old man face. I mean, George Karl's got obviously classic old man face. I mean, Larry Brown. I mean, and these guys, it's like okay, these guys are not getting along with players. PJ Carlissimo's getting in fights with Latrell Sprewell. Who else is I guess just any old, even Phil Jackson later as well too. It's like Phil Jackson, you coach long enough, you'll just become an old white guy coach eventually. I guess if you're a young white guy coach. But definitely just again, maybe we're not saying bring back the white guy. Just when they get old, the 70 plus white guy coach, and maybe. Actually guys coaching in their 70s and stuff is actually not as common as we're thinking. Maybe guys just, maybe guys looked older back in the day as well too. Maybe that's what it is, Chad. Maybe, the fitness, these coaches are in the gym. That's another piece of it as well too. Like the coaches now are in the gym. The coaches are jacked up. They're not wearing suits anymore. Like, I mean, these coaches in suits, like they're still going to look good. Again, they're all athletes. They're all in stellar shape, all stellar physiques. But, you have all, these out of shape guys that never played the sport or played it back in high school and just have stopped playing it. They're not. It's like back in the day, the coach just did not feel the need to be in the weight room, chat. He's like, I'm a coach. I'm not training. I don't know even who the coaches would have been that would have been those guys. Again, even sort of I'm thinking more now for football and this kind of like the weight room aspect of back in the day for the coach. Because again, now even like Mitch Johnson, it's like, okay, Mitch Johnson might bench press more than the Spurs. Is not like we have the thickest lineup of any. Mitch Johnson might have the highest bench press of anybody on the roster at this point. We're talking De'Aaron Fox and Devin Vassell and Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama's not out benching Coach Johnson, Chad. Coach Johnson on the shoulder press. Like, I mean, there's a reason the team respects him at this point. Udoka as well too, Chad. I mean, again, all of these guys are former athletes, former players, not necessarily out of the game for crazy long times. I guess if LeBron is still playing, just the timeline for an athlete, like it's like, okay, Mitch Johnson he's still got 8 years left, at some point if he wants to get back in the league. But, the idea of the coach being sort of the maniac coach. Like Gruden obviously is sort of a, shout out early 2000s. Do I call him an older maniac coach? But again, it's like early 2000s. Maybe I'm starting to get into that stage. They're like, what's old, chat? Ayo. But probably not. But it is what it is. But yeah, like Gruden, is Gruden like in the weight room? Like he's definitely in the weight room, like firing guys up. Like he's probably like dipping into the chalk and like clapping and getting everybody energized. But I don't know if he's actually okay. Now I'm doing 3 sets of 10 with the boys. Like he was never, never necessarily looked like that. Shout out. But and NFL as well too. A ton of former player coaches, all throughout history. That definitely would have been in the mix, but I'm thinking like old highlights, guys on the sideline. It just never seems like it was the same sort of thing. Again, even a guy like Dick Butkus, chat. Hey, yo, whoa, shout out. But a guy like him, like, is that kind of like what Dan Campbell is now? Like now, 2025, those type of Mike Singletary. Like I feel like do we need to go Mike Singletary pictures as the 49ers head coach, chat? Who did he coach? Was it 49ers? Hey, yo. I think he might have had a Bears run in there as not necessarily a head coach, but was he an assistant or something? And I guess in Washington as well, too, back in the 2000s. But he was like classic, just brutal football player. Mike Singletary is going to mess you up if you go over the middle. Okay, maybe it is just more the dress. Okay, yeah, Mike Singletary, chat, shout out. Look at Mike Singletary still in the weight room back in the day. I guess again they're not playing, so the sort of the burning of the calories, chat, is a little bit different. Maybe the coach lifting physique is going to be a different than DK Metcalf just eating Skittles all day and then running go routes, and he's like just burning it all off. But again, like Dan Campbell is like, I guess maybe it is. Is it just the short sleeve game is different? Because back in the 2000s, that's got to be what it is, Chad. I guess David Shaw is maybe not David Shaw might be a weight room guy for sure, but it's got to be just maybe the fashion of the early 2000s, or shout out Romeo Cornell. But some of the longer sleeves and the thicker shirts, like this type of look, chat. Hey, yo, I guess, Mike London, shout out, University of Virginia. But, like, I guess some coaches are, you get Dwayne Johnson on the sideline in any polo, and it's like, okay, well, he's in the weight room. But this is definitely going to mask any type of gains that you're making, chat. Even a big sort of puffy pullover like this. But this is kind of a cool sweater. Kind of a thicker mock neck. Hey, yo, I guess it's more. I guess he's probably got like a shirt with like a crew neck situation under. He probably got layers on. Maybe that's what it is. Mike Singletary, too many layers, chat. Not showing off the gains. Okay, Chat GPT, we're gonna ask another question. Who are the most jacked coaches? Hey, yo, who are the most muscular? I don't know how to ask this properly, chat. But who are the most jacked NBA/NFL? Head coach. We'll stick to the head coach. Shout out. There's gonna be some assistants out there that you're like, oh, there's where actually the record numbers probably lie in the assistants. But just for the namesake of it, we'll stick for the head coaches and see who the most notable guys are. Here's a definitive breakdown, chat. Hey, yo, I guess I was thinking like Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's like a classic old school football guy. There's like highlights of him like. Now on the radar, like back when the OTAs were going on in early June, there was a highlight of him like diving around the guys as they were stretching and warming up, and he's like, this is always gonna get into a wrestling pose. Pete Carroll's got him pinned, and now one of the assistant coaches counted out 1, 2. Oh, Pete Carroll got the offensive tackle. Like he's tumbling around having a good time, and Pete Carroll might definitely be doing some band work as well too. I'm not doubting the man, but it's just a little bit of a different thing as well. Like that's a more traditional old guy. Dan Campbell, number 1, chat, iconic. Maybe Dan Campbell is just the number 1. He might just be, chat. He might be the number 1. It's not even again shout out. Obviously, he still carries around the physique of a former player or a player, but he is also just the energy, the coffees, 17 espresso shots a day, and the whole personality of it. And the fact that he have the blend of both, chat, like where it's like again, he's chugging espresso and doing push-ups and just sprinting around the track telling guys that, they're going to win the Super Bowl. But then once he gets done running, like, again, in the middle of the speech, he's going to break down. He's going to cry. He's going to be vulnerable. There's going to be emotions. He's like, I love the team so much. Now, run through a wall for the team. And it's like, Dan Campbell just checks all the boxes, chat. Obviously, the legendary personality as a coach, and has done a great job in Detroit as well, too. Nickname Man Campbell. Hey, yo, chat. One letter off, but, a whole new meaning, apparently. Hardcore weight regain. Drinks 80 ounces of coffee before 9. Before 9, chat. One said he'd bite kneecaps off. I mean, again, there's just no... the quotables, I mean, there's just no box that... He's going to be whatever... again, this might be more of a basketball movie, whatever our Nutty Professor basketball remake is, chat. But there maybe is going to be a Dan Campbell-esque coffee drinker kneecap biting. Hey, whoa, what type of coach is this? I mean, definitely a heavy coffee drinker in the mix for sure. Massive, still looks like he'll line up and block edge rushers. I don't know if he's necessarily looks to tackle. Oh, Vrabel for sure, chat. Vrabel, not currently a head coach. ChatGPT, pick up the pace. Shout out to Vrabel, of course, in New England now, getting that team built up. Robert Saleh, former tight end. Stefanski. Hey, yo, chat. Hey, yo. A little Kevin Stefanski update. A little sleeper physique from Kevin Stefanski. Speaking of band work, chat, I guess, yeah, I could see it, chat. You got to respect the hustle. For sure. He's definitely in the weight room as well. Maybe coffee is sort of a weight. I don't know if it's a weight gainer. Maybe a muscle builder, chat. Maybe the energy there. It might be just being like, if he's drinking 80 ounces of coffee before 9 a.m., like that's just an insane amount of pre-workout. Like, he's just definitely pretty hyped up. But yeah, Stefanski, former defensive back. Darvin Ham, chat. Whoa, Darvin Ham, the number one former NBA dunker with a rep for weightlifting. Physique absolutely shredded for decades. Wide chest, big arms, still looks like his enforcer. Whoa, ChatGPT's hitting on Darvin Ham, chat. I think ChatGPT is side-eyeing Darvin Ham, formerly of the Lakers. The number one NBA weightlifting head coach is Darvin Ham. Hey, yo, shout out. I mean, he's a hustler, chat. He's a worker for sure. And, I mean, will he be a head coach again? I don't know if it's unreasonable to see, but Willie Green. Yeah, chat. Willie Green. Lean and defined. Yeah, lean, mean Willie Green. I don't know if that's a movie star from the 70s, chat, but it could be. I mean, lean, mean Willie Green might also be next to Buddy Field and lean, mean Willie Green. Maybe Buddy Field turns, or maybe, because I guess if he's going to be lean, mean Willie Green, like, it'd be difficult for him to be lean, mean. But, is it like, are they making fun of him if he's not a good basketball player and his name's Lean Green, Willie Machine, or whatever his name is? But, but if his then he turns into Buddy Field. So then Buddy Field could be like the awkward version of the basketball player, and then he turns into Willie Lean Mean Green Machine. But maybe we'd workshop the names just a little bit. Ime Udoka, Mark Dagna doesn't flaunt it, but stocky body and reportedly trains regularly. I could see Dagna. Dagna seems more like he's going for a jog, to be honest. I don't know if Dagna is, or like a treadmill guy. Dagna is the last head coach on the treadmill. That's my guess. I don't know. A push-up contest, maybe a pull-up contest. I don't know if he's getting into CrossFit or something like that, but I could see him. I could see him with the endurance stuff being really good, Chad. He definitely seems like he could be. The runner physique. I don't know if he's that sort of slim, but again, it doesn't necessarily seem like the most stacked guy. So he could definitely maybe maintain some speed as well too. Not out of breath on like the first lap. But Sirianni, Daboll. Hey, yo, I mean, Daboll's been putting in the work. Daboll, if we go Daboll 2025, I don't know if we go to Daboll's Instagram. I don't know if he's got like some shirtless vacation photos that we can pull up. Let me check. Does Daboll even have Instagram? Shocker, chat. I've never actually said like, hey, let me go check out Brian Daboll's Instagram. Hey, yo, we'd have to be a really degenerate football fan to get in that type of. Okay, Brian Daboll, pro tennis coach. I don't think he has one, chat. Oh, Brian Dawkins. Hey, yo, we might have a new follow, or not a new follow. We might be following a new page after this, chat. there's a lack of Brian Daboll fan pages as well too, Chad. I'm noticing. There's no like fake Brian Daboll accounts. Maybe my spell. Yeah, I'm looking at his name right now. I'm spelling his name. Let me see, chat. Brian Daboll. Okay, maybe there's a couple. There's a couple. This one doesn't have any posts. This one, 16 posts, and they're not doing him any favors. At last post. Oh yeah, last posted in 2023. So not updated with the current Brian Daboll physique. And then this one, official Brian Daboll, they have a picture of Josh Downs being drafted by the Colts on here. So shout out, I guess, we respect the mutual respect for Josh Downs. But yeah, no Instagram for Brian Daboll, not necessarily surprising, and he has been putting in the work. Jason Kidd, Chauncey Billups, yeah, Chauncey Billups still looks solid. Yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly how I would say it. I don't know. Hey, pause. I guess. Take that back. That's not how I would say it. But, yeah, he's definitely like, yeah, Chauncey Billups is, perfect. 8 out of 10. 10 out of 10. But, like, if we're going Mr. Olympia standards, it's like Chauncey Billups, very attainable, but also, very inspirational as well, too. So, the pound-for-pound strongest, I mean, does it know that, Check? Can it, like, access, like, the bench press numbers for these coaches? I don't know what's possible. And I don't even remember how we got on the coach topic as well, too. Nutty Professor, Eddie Murphy, Denzel, recasting. Oh, was it just Buddy Field, chat? Hey, yo. But shout out, Dallas is keeping it close. The Wings, chat, keeping it close here in the third. 74-67, a single-digit game. I mean, they've been battling back the entire time, so you got to give them credit. But other second-round notes, chat. Kalkbrenner, I guess, is... Oh, from Toronto via Dallas. So Kalkbrenner, yeah, is going to Charlotte, along with Sion James. So Charlotte, again, Charlotte's gonna be a playoff team next year, chat. Lock it in. If LaMelo Ball stays healthy, Charlotte's gonna be a playoff team. I have faith in Saloon as the year two guy. McNeely? That's right, they got McNeely in the first round. The discount Con Knipple? Hey, yo, chap. Taller Con Knipple, McNeely, and so you add McNeely, Kalkbrenner, and Sion. Those are all guys, And I think, where they is, you always want to say that every guy on the roster we have is locked in as a starter, and not every guy. If there's an upgrade to be made in the draft, obviously you're probably going to take it, but they do have a lot of guys that you could project out as starter level players. Again, with LaMelo Ball under contract for a couple years, you still got Miles Bridges there for 2 years. He's 27. Maybe he wants to start looking for more competitive opportunities, but also maybe he just likes the situation in Charlotte as well too. And you did just trade Mark Williams, so I guess he would have been one of those guys, like, younger core type guys. But between Brandon Williams, Saloon, and LaMelo, you still have at least 3 guys there that are going to be ideally, again, the instant, but long-term type options. And Bridges is just taking a starting spot there if you're trying to be competitive as well too. And they were maneuvering in that draft where they got McNeely. So, and wait, they also took, who did they take, Chad? Wait. Didn't they have the 4th pick in the draft? I have to go back and look there real quick. Oh, wait, McNeely on the Suns. They're moving around. Is there an updated, after all of these trades, where are these guys at on their teams? But, that's right. They got Knipple as well too, Chad. Okay, so, wait, let's see here where it said for McNeely. Traded to Charlotte, so they got Knipple and McNeely. Hey, yo, that's right. It is what it is. But both those guys can be additive shooters, additive rotation guys. And, again, I guess you're thinking Knipple as well, too, can be that. Could he be a second guard next to LaMelo, but also kind of bridge the gap as a first guard if you needed him to, while you sort of build the rest of the team out? And it's like, oh, do we get better forwards? And then, Knipple could be one of those guys, like we're saying. He is definitely like, I don't want to say discount Jamal Murray, but what we're saying there. It's like he could be the off-ball sort of creator around the other forwards if you needed him to be, or if you have another guard like LaMelo and he's playing the 2-guard scoring off the ball primarily. Again, he can also do that as well. So impactful for year one for sure. And then Kalkbrenner's deal, I guess, I would still rather just the player talent have Mark Williams over Kalkbrenner, but maybe if we just, the more I guess, and again, there was a lot of clips about here's the people criticizing Mark Williams for certain points in the moment. Here's some of the clips of Mark Williams doing these things, but again, you just know the top end talent is still there. But Kalkbrenner gives you that defense. Maybe there's a little rim protection there, some shot blocking upside, and then the floor spacing as well too. And Saloon can play some 5 if you need him. So what are they working? Projected cap space. Oh, chat, they're not working with a lot of cap space. Hey, yo, they definitely have tax space, I guess. Here, let's go back and see what they've got. Yeah, total cap allocations this year, they are minus 27. So is that what some of the cap holds? I guess they don't really have any cap holds at this point. One of them being Knipple. I guess they have Trey Mann as a restricted free agent, 14.7. That's an interesting one. I think, again, you just took Knipple with that pick, so. And Seth versus Trey Mann, like as much as you would say, like, let's bet on the younger talent, maybe Seth's veteran experience would be the thing to just try to run back on that team. And also, Trey Mann is a restricted free agent versus Seth is a little bit more of a cost-controlled option there. But they're still going to be over the cap maximum line. So they're still well under the first apron space, yeah, and well under the second apron space. So you're not going to go into the tax with this team, hopefully, even if they're going to be a playoff team. But it doesn't look like they're going to have the moves to make anything happen in free agency crazy unless they make a trade. So I guess, I guess we should probably should we get the movie cooked up and then get to the trade machine as well too? Well, here, I guess we'll just go through the rest of the draft second round quick and see if there's anything else. Oh, Broom to Philly was a fun pick. And definitely a win now pick, a veteran guy. And with his athletic testing, there's the clip of him jumping up at the combine. I was like, uh-oh, what's happening with Janai Broom? But you don't necessarily need him to be an incredible leaper. I mean, Embiid is obviously like 7'2" or 7-footer. So there is a level of leaping that he doesn't necessarily need to have. But Janai Broom, what he's seen, 6'9". There might be a little bit of, if you need him to be like your actual 5, that's a little interesting. It is because Embiid is there, it is a little bit of an interesting fit. Like, can he play next to Embiid, but also is he going to be the 5-man behind Embiid? Is he Precious Achiuwa in the NBA? I think he could be could he be better than Precious Achiuwa at an equal level? Like, I think there's definitely that possibility. But is he that same type of active small ball 5 if you need him to be? I think he's a little bit more of a patient scorer. And, I got to give him credit. He's a tough, active rebounder as well, too. So if he's just accentuating sort of that part of the game, and then, they're crediting his feel for the game as well, too. I wouldn't necessarily say he's like a jump-off-the-page passer playmaker, like you're going to run the offense around him, from the elbow, and then he's going to, get you rebounds and be active on defense. So, Jennifer, this is a rousing endorsement for our guy, Janai Broom. But he's I love his scoring, patient scoring, competitive guy. Was able to carry Auburn, of course, to great success in the tournament and in the SEC. And maybe, I guess, ultimately did they get to some of the stuff that they wanted to get to. But I'm still a fan, so. And maybe with Embiid's injury as well, too. I don't know, who knows what his overall just game-to-game availability is, and then certain lineups, maybe it just, you see looks where Janai Broom looks really good night to night. But yeah, and if he is able to get a 3-point shot, unconventional mechanics, career 30% 3-point percentage, but I think maybe it went up a little bit in the last couple of years. The Lakers went up and got this guy from Arkansas, Adu through, chat. Do we need to go? What's the old ringer guys saying about our guy Adu through? We need a comp, chat. We need a visualization on a player to see who did the Lakers just trade up for. And I have a feeling maybe he might be in this list, this ringer list, top 30 or top 32. That first round level talent. Let's see here, chat. Oh, it's going to be close. Oh, 27. Yeah. So where did he end up falling to? And, maybe they're just trading up best player available. 36. So if you're thinking he is a low 20s or high 20s, I guess, level player in the draft, and then all of a sudden you're like the mid to high 30s, then and especially if the trade up makes a lot of sense for Brooklyn. And of course Brooklyn, because Theroux is not like a weird point guard type player, they can't take him. He's obviously a wing player who could complement everybody else around him. So it's like, oh well, we got to trade out of this pick. But in terms of comps, let's see what we got here. Kamara! Oh! That's kind of fun. Torrey Craig, Haywood Highsmith, and then Maurice Harkless. I mean, those are all fun players. I don't know if all of these guys have played for the Blazers, but definitely Kamara and Harkless, maybe Torrey Craig, and then I think maybe Highsmith just played on the Heat. But Haywood Highsmith is good as well too, Chad. He definitely underrated. All of these guys, Kamara and Haywood Highsmith are the two best guys on this list, and maybe people would know Torrey Craig and Mo. I guess how many people know Torrey Craig and Mo Harkless, Chad? But those are all definitely the impact that all of those guys bring to the table is very reasonable. It's definitely I don't know what the right term is for it, but it's just very easy to make sense. Like the 3-point shooting, the play. Kamara brings a little bit more with some of the playmaking and the defense as well too. But with Highsmith's effort and some of the versatility and the sort of playing up a position as well too, like can they be a little bit 4-5-ish at times, or just give you some of that energy around the rim at pause if you need it. Where Kamara, maybe there's a little bit more playmaking element to his game, but there's just a confidence to the talents that you're going to be able to give. So I don't know what his 3-point percentage was in college here, if they have it listed or if they mention it. Yeah, I guess here we'll just go to the Tankathon quick because that'll be a easy way to pull it up. Do they already have? No, they don't have 2026 mocks. Dembasta? Where's he going to be at? They were running that segment on ESPN today. We were walking around the restaurant like, wait a second, Dembasta? And then there was some other guy as well too, a Darren Peterson. Is that a name? I'm just going to type that in here and see if that leads to anything. Darren Peterson 24/7. Yeah, I think this is it. Kentucky? Oh, Kansas. Oh, shout out Sam. Sam recommitted to college basketball next year with Darren Peterson. Combo guard, I guess. 5 stars. So him and Dembasta, I guess, are right now competing for that number 1 spot. But we are looking for our guy. Let's see here, chat. Theroux, is that right? Was Tankathon a little higher on him? Maybe a little bit lower on him comparatively. Oh, they have Henson. So is it Yang, Henson Yang? What's the right way to say? Henson Yang? They have Yang 42 in this mock. Hey, yo, chat. And of course, ends up going up to the Blazers. Wait, where's our guy? Oh, here he is, 33 to Charlotte. So they had him a little bit more in the range, actually, where he got drafted. I guess maybe if you averaged up all this. Well, again, 36 is maybe the actual lower end of the range for him. And maybe the 3-point percentage is one of the things to be concerned. So the 3-point percentage, I guess, is the concerning piece of it. I don't know. Phil Hanley, is he still there? Phil Handy? What's that guy's name? Ayo. But, the Wings cut it to 5. 8 minutes left. 72-77. The Wings, are they going to steal this game? They have the 2 best closers in the game now. No Caitlin Clark out there. Kelsey Mitchell. Better tell Ilya Boston. Don't let the Pacers were the ones that were making the comebacks. Don't let them be disappointed by the fact that you just gave up a 20-point lead from the first quarter. But, it does look like he is a good attacker as well too. So if you're getting some defense and some versatility, maybe a little Omax, chat. Like is he sort of 6'7", 6'8" range, but a 7+ wingspan. Like that was kind of where Omax was at it in the draft, and then not really the 3-point shooting. So if that's apparently the type of guy that you have to pair with, Nico Harrison's like, hey, I'll give you a little bit of advice. You're gonna trade for Luka Doncic. He needs a player like Omax next to him. So he's like, trade up for Theroux. In the start. He's like, trust me, I know how to build a team around Luka Doncic. It's like I've done this before. But Theroux is. We don't really have combine stats in the athleticism, but we don't need those. I think that was pretty well established for him at this point. Theroux is a chaos agent, sky-high steal percentage, and appetite for deflections. When he played against fellow super athlete VJ Edgecombe earlier this season, it was impossible to tell who was the likely lottery talent just by looking at them side to side. Those are always the games that get you, chat. where you're like, wait a second, this guy has been like a second round guy all year, and all of a sudden he's going toe to toe with this guy in the first round that might be a top 5 pick. It's like, oh man, he's playing better than him. There was a Kayvon Allen Malik Monk game where it was like, I think Kayvon Allen's the right name for Florida back in the day. It was like, Kayvon Allen's going toe to toe with Malik Monk. Is Kayvon Allen gonna be a first round draft pick? But yeah, Thoreau would raise some eyebrows at the NFL Combine. Whoa. He also has a deep love for contact. Whoa. And will fearlessly hurl himself into any situation, which is partly why he missed stretches at both Kentucky and Arkansas. That physicality is a driving force behind much of his impact, as he's primarily a finisher at this point, although the door is open for more. And maybe a little bit of Vanderbilt in there as well, too, for Thoreau, which I guess I don't know if he was a free agent or not for him there. But, trading up for him again, probably just getting that value on the mocks. trying to win the perception awards. L.A. always got to. But Chaz Lanier going to the Pistons. And then Cam Jones, would have been fun on the Spurs. On the Pacers, he feels a little Matherin-y, so it's like, okay, well, they already have a Matherin. Like, do we get 2 Benedict Matherins? But more guards, more playmakers, I guess, is not a bad thing. And I don't know, what the Nembhard future is, what the McConnell future is. And I'm not saying this year, but if Nembhard's got like 2 years on his deal left and it's friendly now, and you're like, okay, well, if he gets better in the next 2 years, then he's also just going to be on we're not going to be able to pay all these guys. So we start getting some of the pieces in place for that stuff now, because again, they are, I think, without, unfortunately, Halliburton. Of course, it's not like they're going to be able to run this back in the same way next year, but a lot of the guys are going to be able to be back on the team at least in 25, 26. So you can at least start, again, at least thinking maybe a little bit long term as well, too, now that you're not totally concerned about winning a conference this year, maybe in the same way. Elijah Martin from Florida had a good tournament, so that's a good pick. I like his upside, good 3-point shooting as well, too. Isn't a great ball handler or passer for his size. Prone to streakiness at times from behind the arc. Oh, man. Gavoni. Not a fan, apparently. Strong, explosive wing whose shot-making and defensive versatility played a key role in Florida's championship run. I mean, maybe this is a little bit of my Sam take here, Chad. I like championship basketball players. What can I tell you? Elijah Martin, big-time player for Florida in the championship, and also on that Florida Atlantic team as well, too. So, how does he find minutes in this weird sort of Raptors team, which, R.I.P. Masai Ujiri, Chad. They just fired Masai after 13 years. I say, parted ways, and again, Masai's one of those guys. He'll be right back. He'll probably end up getting a raise as well, too. This will actually be better for him. Somehow, the last, 5 years, the team has gotten worse every year. Masai has probably fallen down the power rankings, the GM power rankings, and he's going to get paid more money to go work a job somewhere else. And I don't know, I can't think off the top of my head what maybe the most immediate vacancies are right now for an NBA job. Obviously, the Knicks head coaching job is the big coach vacancy. But is there a big GM vacancy? Nico Harrison's holding on right now in Dallas, so people are feeling good. Cooper Flagg just got there. Shams is called the best front court in the NBA, so front line in the NBA. So, maybe he's not going anywhere. Masai's not going to be replacing him in Dallas. But, this is like Masai and Golden State. It'd have to be a move or something like that where, shout out Dunleavy, but he just hasn't quite. He's been good, so maybe, they spend enough on the roster. Maybe they don't want to spend too much on the GM at that point. But I guess Washington brought in that guy from the Clippers again, so I feel like they've got their piece. Maybe Masai to the Clippers. I don't know who the Clippers GM right now is, but I think they kind of like their guy. Oh, wait, has Denver hired a GM at this point, chat? Has that officially happened? Because they, of course, hired Adelman, what's the guy's name? Adelman, as the actual head coach, promoting him from interim. Reportedly named Ben Tresner. What's this guy do? This guy score the social network? Ben Tresner? Who is this guy? John Wallace, new EVPs after Malone Booth exits. So they do a little promoting, do a little outside hiring. I guess not Masai. If only they had known, chat. If only they had known Masai was going to be available a couple days later. They're like, hey, we're going to have Masai Ujiri in there as well, too. But here, let's see. NBA GM openings. Well, can we go to Indeed.com and see where, LinkedIn, where is Masai Ujiri going to be GMing, I guess, next year. President basketball. Let's see on the old Wikipedia, what we got here. The new Ben Tresner for Denver. Stone in Houston. Seems like he's doing a good job, of course. Kleiman for the Grizzlies? Yeah, they just moved on from their coach. Presti to the Raptors, chat. Hey, is this now we have to start the cycle of Presti's going to leave for every job, but the Raptors probably are. They're not one of those jobs. Cronin, the Blazers? Ooh, chat. I don't know. Our guy to the Blazers, maybe? Could be kind of interesting. Bobby Webster, I guess, is... Oh, so Masai, again, I guess, is not technically the general manager. So general managers, too, that's not enough for him now, chat. He goes to another organization, like a presidential front office role. That's probably what it is, honestly. That's probably what it is. Oh, chat, the Wings have the lead. A 23-point deficit overturned. 80-79, 5 minutes left. Whoa! Was that Kelsey Mitchell with the three? Oh, chat, we might have to lock in here. 5 minutes left. This is fun stuff. Will Dawkins, I guess, is the GM for the Wizards. So wait, is Lawrence Frank the Clippers GM? Who's Lawrence Frank, chat? I know that guy's been bouncing around. Clippers, Trent Redden. Maybe Frank's moved up or moved on. Who knows? Who knows? I don't. For some reason, that name was stuck in the mind, chat. Oh, foul on Dallas. Okay, it's tied now. It's tied. But Kobe Brea. Oh, also going to Phoenix. So how is Phoenix even making all these moves, chat? What is happening? What are they trading? Just cash considerations for second-round picks? I mean, maybe it's a way to do it. Maybe that's a way to make it work. Renaud to Sacramento, 42. That might be kind of a decent pick. He was up on some of the mocks. Seemed like he fell a little bit. After competing in France alongside his good friend and now Spurs star Victor Wembanyama in his youth, Renaud has developed into a legitimate NBA talent. Renaud has played next to Wemby. Oh, chat, I'm even more locked in now. Renaud and Sabonis, lock it in. That's a great front court. That's the next best front court in the NBA. Cooper Flagg and Anthony Davis is number one. Domantas Sabonis and Maxime Renaud is number two. And I thought I saw some post about some rumors that Sabonis was almost going to get traded for Jaylen Brown. So I don't know if that was true or if that was, if we just got Barry McCockernerd. But, I mean, the post was there. So that's all we were saying is we just saw the post. We were reporting it as like, oh, man, I can't believe this almost actually happened. But, hey, I don't think it actually would have. Do the Kings have like a lot of picks that they were going to throw in there? Because Sabonis is... he's an expensive guy. I mean, he's obviously cheaper than Jaylen Brown, but he is, I think, on a shorter contract as well, too. So if you're thinking about getting out of the back end of the contract, and then adding in some talent, some draft capital as well, too. Like, I could definitely see yourself talking into it from that aspect. And again, you're taking the break here anyways with Tatum being hurt this year. Even though, maybe bringing, if they hadn't brought in Simons, chat, now they're like, okay, well, we can reset with Sabonis and picks. But now that we have Simons, we have to, think about still competing for a championship. But I just don't know if that's a player talent move that they wouldn't make. I think, again, maybe you could have even looked at some of the analytics and been like, oh, there is a world where even without Tatum, Jaylen, Sabonis, if Sabonis is a solo guy on a team versus Jaylen Brown is a solo guy, like, are we going to get sort of the same level of impact? And then Sabonis is a number two. Like, what does that look like? But, I mean, again, Jaylen Brown is a finals MVP, like Sabonis doesn't. So I think you have to give him his credit. But Jameer Watkins going to Washington, guard from Florida. I think one of these guards in here, Lanier, maybe Penda? I don't know. One of these guys, of course, the dad, shout out, was making headlines for going crazy. Oh, Javon Small. Javon Small's grandpa. Oh, his grandpa. So wait, let's see here. Where the 48th pick to the Grizzlies. Apparently, we looked up at the TV at the right point to be like, just see the guy be like, my boy! My boy! So shout out Javon Small. Great moment. Just the grandpa just overcome with emotion, chat. At the draft, hanging out. It's great to see. But Brooks Barnhizer going to the Thunder. And I remember this name as well too, because I remember the commissioner. I think who's the deputy commissioner guy, Mark Tatum. I think he read the name exactly like we read it there. He was like, the Thunder draft Brooks Barnhizer out of Northwestern. So it's teams are drawn to Barnhizer's production of a diversity of production. Good rebounder, playmaker, numbers of steals and blocks. 6'6", 230. You can kind of guess his body type from his headshot there, chat. Hey, yo. Speaking of David Roddy, but Barnhizer is the type of guy, type of tough-minded glue guy that the Thunder tend to covet, and will be an emergency bench option for Oklahoma on a two-way contract. He becomes the first player drafted out of Northwestern since Evan Eschire in 1999. Whoa, is that true? Northwestern hasn't had a player since. Wait, okay, I don't even remember that guy's name there, chat. What was that guy's name? Evan Eschmeyer. So I don't know if he, the NBA run, did he have here? He did, chat. 3 years. Shout out. 2000, 2003. 34th overall pick in the 1999 NBA draft. About 3 points a game in his 153 games. But that's the last time Northwestern has had a player drafted. Hey, yo, chat. That's kind of crazy. The leader in total points, Don Adams. 4,500 is 4,600 points. Hey, yo. Hey, yo. So this guy has a very good chance to be the number one player out of Northwestern ever, I guess. Just being the last guy drafted, but still. Any type of production. Barnhizer, I guess. Is Brooks Barnhizer going to score 5,000 career points as a second-round pick? That'd be a pretty good second-round pick. At 44, you'd be like, Brooks Barnhizer, man. He's cooking out there. 5,000 points. But Rocco Zwarski, Amari Williams, Bogoljub Markovic. Okay, chat. I feel like I remember seeing this guy's interview. There was a Serbian guy that got drafted. Was there another Serbian that got drafted after this? Wait, what do we got here? Oh, Liberty. I was like, Libya or something? But Senegal. There's a Senegal in here as well. Wait, is that another Niang, chat? It's a Niang brother, maybe? But, yeah, this guy from Serbia gave a very compelling, very confident interview. Even Windhorst mentioned it at the time. Windhorst was like, I really love that interview. Like, that guy was very confident, and you watch him. It was very, Serbia, you just start going, okay, what are the easy comparisons here? Again, he's a guard. So, or no, he is 6'11 forward, but 213, he's a little bit more of a, different type of player. He's not a center like Jokic, but the mentality, you were like, is this just Serbia, or is that Jokic? Is Jokic wired in a different way, or are all the guys from this country wired this way? Because it felt very Jokic-y, the way he was talking, and it's like, okay, I'm just, I want to get to work, I want to play basketball, I want to go home, I just want to have a good time, and he was just very confident, like, he's like, I think I'm the best player in the draft. So I was like, 47? What was Jokic's pick? I think Jokic was 42. So it's not like going to be exactly right here. Let us see what it was. 41, chat, in 2014. The 41st pick. So Markovic could be, even a couple spots behind Jokic. A better second round, but, you'd have to win 5 MVPs, I guess. So, nothing's impossible, chat. Bogolub Markovic is going to... Can we get a chat GPT? We need a career projection for Bogoljub Markovic. I'm all in, chat. Where's he even going? Milwaukee? I'm telling you right now, playing in a playoff game, like Final Five guy. He'll be on the court. Him and it's Markovic, Kevin Porter, and AJ Green and Giannis winning the Eastern Conference Finals next year. Lock it in right now. But we've gotten some good career projections for some of the the first round talent. So can we get what? Oh, ChatGPT not locked in on the right spot here. What are the career projections for? And hopefully it knows who we're. You know what? It'll know, chat. It'll know. He's a professional level talent. What are the career projections for Bogoslav Markovic? And hopefully maybe it gives us a pronunciation guide on the name as well, too. Widely seen as second-round pick with strong upside. In fact, the Bucks selected him 47th overall. Oh, good to know, ChatGPT. Good to know. Draft and immediate outlook. Draft and stash plan. Oh, there we go, chat. So, I mean, ChatGPT, keeping us updated. I guess we didn't get to that part of the interview. Immediate plan for him to draft and stash? That's without any rumblings regarding... Chat, what are they doing that for? He's confident. Bring him over. Who's taking minutes from him? Who's on the Bucks right now outside of the guys, those 4 guys that are going to be taking minutes from our guy Markovic? Average 13 to 14 points a game in Serbian leagues. Efficient, 54%, low 30s, low 40s, high 30s for the 3-point percentage. Stretch big versatility, offensive efficiency, high basketball IQ. Like, he is a little skinny Jokic, chat. A little skinny Jokic on the draft. Draft status, late second round. NBA bench or rotation big in pace and space. Game ceiling, blah, blah, blah. We're not getting any comps, chat. Maybe we go back to the ringer guide. So it doesn't want to give us any accolades, chat. Give us any career stats or projections, apparently. It just says, hey, good luck to Markovic. Hopefully he does okay. But I imagine he is... Okay, 32! So he is kind of... And where did they end up getting him, chat? Shout out the ringer guys. I guess a little bit higher on him than his draft status. So they got him at 47? Let's see. Is he on the Tankathon list? We got to cross-reference all the lists and then add it up. Maybe that'll be the Rem and Sam project is... We'll create an aggregate mock based on all of the mocks, or an aggregate big board, which I think a lot of... There might be like an NFL site that already does that. I think NFL does that for their own site as well, too. But an aggregate big board of just all of the major big boards that we can find. And honestly, just literally any big board that I just put it in there, chat. If you got a big board, add it in. We'll do the math. We'll see how it calculates. But Markovic himself. Oh wait, did Golden get drafted? I don't know if Golden got drafted in the draft, chat. Shout out. But is he top 30? He's also 35. So yeah, I guess kind of consensus mid 30s level player. They got in the mid 40s. Grit and skill wrapped into a stretch 4 burrito. Whoa. Some areas of shakiness still to figure out, I guess. Mega basket. I mean, you just got to take anybody that plays for a team that's mega basket. Aside from that hit first mentality and nice Hartensteinian push shot. Whoa, Hartensteinian. That's crazy. Repertoire. A nice Hartensteinian push shot repertoire. In that 6 to 12 mid-range. Markovic's most marketable trait at this point is his ability to space the floor. Although he might be forced to speed up a shot, he shoots a relatively easy ball with a pleasing arc. His lower body is wide and balanced. His arms and elbows are straight and doesn't require a huge knee bend for power. But for all his willingness to attack, he uses a high dribble that is more susceptible to defender swipes. He could stand to map out where his teammates and defenders are once he gets into traffic to cut down on off-mark passes. Oh, chat, that's anti-Jokic. He has no idea where his teammates are at. Jokic literally knows where everybody's at all times. But plus defender status is probably not on the menu. Whoa! Not even long-term. Markovic moves fairly well for his size, but plays upright. His main mode of defensive impact is doing what he can in close enough to be close enough to contest, but rarely gets his hands on many balls. Whoa! That means he'll have to max out his offensive offerings to stay on the floor. So they're saying Henry Ellison, Davis Bertans, Namia Bjelica, or John Butler Jr. I honestly have no idea who John Butler Jr. is. Shout out to John Butler Jr. But I don't know. I'm not even going to say, is that player before him? Is that a fake player? Is it a fictional guy from a movie that we never watched? John Butler? Yeah, who is this guy, chat? The Wizards? Is he on our beloved Wizards team? Oh, he didn't. Oh, Portland a couple years ago. 19 games played, 11 minutes a game. 32% from the field, 2.4 points a game. 7 foot 175. Shout out to John Butler Jr. I mean, look at it. Look at his neck, chat. Hey, yo, pause. But that's crazy. John Butler Jr. Shout out. Make a comeback. John Butler Jr. to the Suns, chat. Him and Bol and Malic and Mark Williams Mark Williams together could be a lot of fun. But hopefully that Markovic guy actually comes over because he could be fun. Javon Small as well, too. Yeah, 6'1". So it's like, him and Ja together is a little bit interesting. I don't know what role he plays in Memphis, but his support system obviously solid. So you got to love that. Proctor to the Cavs. They just want more three-point shooting from last year. So, I mean, he'll definitely provide that. You don't need too much playmaking from him. at that point. And then outside of that, chat, you start getting Ricard from Florida. I think is a decent prospect as well too. I like that Florida team. I'd take a chance on any of those Florida guys, especially in the second round. So who do we got here? Traded to Golden State. Ricard to Golden State will be a fun landing spot for him as well too. And then I guess the Senegal. Oh, a guard, a 6'8" guard from Senegal, a physically gifted wing on an impressive trajectory who emerged from obscurity and developed into an impactful player in the Italian League and Euro Cup for Trento. Yeah, I mean, once you get to the 58th pick in the draft and you're the Cavs and you kind of have all your roster and your two-way spots filled out, like, this is actually a team that can take a draft and stash guy. This is interesting. Niang from Senegal. I mean, I get sort of convinced that any of these draft and stash guys are going to make it over and play and all this stuff's going to happen, but who knows? Maybe they just end up falling in love with the overseas life, chat, and it is what it is. Mohamed Douara going to the Knicks. The Knicks make one pick back. A massive wingspan, offer some long term. Would probably also be a stash as well too. I thought I saw his name being mentioned as sort of an interesting potential prospect for this draft. But yeah, there we go, chat. So there's the second round of the draft. We better get the movie fired up at some point here. St. Elmo's Fire, 40 years later. I'm pretty sure it's on Pluto right now. That's the last place I watched it. So hopefully it's still there, chat. We'll get it queued up. We'll be right back on the other side of this. All right, chat, we are back. Get ready to queue up the movie here. I better get the remote ready. We got it paused about 23 seconds in because the controls wouldn't load until then. So, get your Pluto TVs fired up. Search St. Elmo's Fire, because apparently St. Elmo's is just not enough to get Pluto to get you to St. Elmo's Fire. But eventually you get to, I don't know, maybe Rob Lowe, Demi Moore, a little shortcut there as well too. And we do also, I guess here, 3, 2, 1, but not 3, 2, 1, 20, I guess 20, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, we're at some point. Oh, wait a second. Wrong TV, chat. We don't want to pause the WNBA. I guess it's live, so nothing will let us stop. Oh, chat. We're getting Liberty versus Mercury. Okay, wait a second. Oh, excuse me. I got to go back to the TV and check the schedule. I thought, hey, yo, chat, I thought we were going to watch the sky. I thought it was Angel Reese. What happened, chat? Oh, I mean, you know, shout out to Liberty. They're going to be great. They're going to, well, I know the Mercury should be competitive. This will be a good game. We need to watch the Mercury. Sabala, chat? Sabala could be in St. Elmo's Fire. But, so could, Angel Reese. Who knows? A remake chat? But I guess either way, here, now we'll actually, get going on this movie. A more recent movie for us that we found is that's kind of how it works as well too. Of course, you know, the older the movie, the newer it is to the rotation. But this is one that somebody at the restaurant recommended. This is one of the first recommends that I got that was like talk about older movies, like, oh, what do you like, 80s, 90s, going back, these types, comedies, actors. Oh, have you ever seen St. Elmo's Fire? No, it's like, well, you know, Brat Pack, Rob Lowe, Demi Moore, Andrew McCarthy, Judd Nelson, Ali Sheedy. Is it Sheedy? Yeah, Sheedy with a D. Ali Sheedy, iconic in this movie. I mean, you know, I feel like we're gonna leave somebody out, but he's like, okay, well, I guess we definitely have to watch this one. And this was, again, you know, we've never been scared off by a Rotten Tomatoes score or a bad review, but this was an interesting one to be like, okay, you know, seems like a decent plot, seems like a good cast. I don't know, that's enough for me to get into it. And one of the just iconic openings of a movie as well too, chat. We've got, you know, just a cigarette smoking Andrew McCarthy in the hospital, followed by just a you know, shout out a big naked fat guy just walking past, chat. Hey, yo, it is what it is. Just bare butt naked in the hospital. I don't know, do they allow that in hospitals like that? I mean, you know, I feel like, we've all, you know, in one reason or another, spent not necessarily ourselves, but you know somebody, you've been in and hey, we've all been in and out, and you've all encountered there's the back of the gown slipping, hey, butt crack in the room, everybody. But you know, a full, just like, okay, this guy's just full nude, like actually just being led out of the hospital. Maybe, I don't know, he's having a tough time wearing the gown. But we get 2 passes from the nude guy, chat. Hey, yo, I guess shout out, they do. Hey, they give him the little napkin on the front, so there is some respect. But just, you know, full dangle in the back is also crazy, just walking around the hospital. But iconic stuff, chat. The cigarette in the hospital is great. You know, just teenagers hanging out. I don't know, is that what happens? Like, let's go pick up our friend from a car accident. I'm ripping a cig in the waiting room. I guess so, chat. 85. But Rob Lowe playing the sax on the ambulance. I mean, what box? I mean, you're just like, okay, 2 minutes in, this is great. And I mean, 80s Rob Lowe. I mean, obviously, it's like, okay, we're talking actors, these teen sort of young, fun actors, 80s, 90s. I mean, Rob Lowe was, you know, right at the top of the list, chat. I don't know what the full, you know, 80s runs of movies for Rob Lowe's. You know, Rob Lowe's going to be an interesting one, chat, for when we do our Tubi All-Stars, because we haven't necessarily done the Rob Lowe, like, Tubi deep dive to see what he's all got on there. But he's got a discography that, like, okay, his discography would be on Tubi. Oh, so The Outsiders was his debut. Okay, I was going to say, I was thinking The Outsiders was before this movie, but I didn't realize it was his film debut, chat. So, you know, between Outsiders, St. Elmo's Fire, About Last Night, Square Dance, I feel like Square Dance is definitely on Tubi. Masquerade is definitely on Tubi, chat. Illegally Yours, Bad Influence, you know, we start getting to the 90s, and then, you know, but fun 80s for our guy Rob Lowe. But this is and the what do you call, not the Brat Pack movies, but just the all of the college age, post college sort of group style movies of all of the people interacting. I mean, I feel like hot take, we don't get that anymore. But is that really only a thing sort of this time? Where I feel like, of course, then it sort of got remade in like a rom-com-y type way with some of just like, okay, now it's going to be like 4 different couples, like, professional middle life couples. But I feel like there's, if we were going back in Hollywood history, there's always probably this like, okay, here's the lives of 4 different people intersecting or 4 different sets of partners intersecting and all the different stuff. But yeah, this is iconic, chat. Like we were saying, iconic cast. Iconic, again, in reading some of the reviews, they're like, well, not reading some. Roger Ebert doesn't have, I couldn't find a written review, but there's a video of him just like ripping into this movie. Can we watch that? I don't know if we can, copyright or whatever, but there's a video of Robert Ebert just being like, these kids aren't interesting. They have no real problems. They're just in high school, like complaining about, the fact that they're just like, okay, are we going to be in relationships or not? Or like, what are we drinking tonight? But it doesn't matter, chat. It's like, okay, for people of that, it's like, is it relatable? Is it fun to see the cast? Is it have some good dialogue and some scenes? Like, it's fun, chat. It's a good time. So we definitely recommend throwing it on in the background as well, too. But, okay, we do got the little WNBA on in the background. And it does not mean that we are done looking at the NBA offseason as well, too, chat. You know how it goes. We kind of dip in and out on focusing of the movies. And plus, as we get ready to enter free agency as well, too. I know that the day for, like, is it like the second or third, when they can start next week, actually start making deals. But then, so, like, how many windows are there now? Not second aprons and stuff, but now just the windows for negotiating as well, too, where all of a sudden you've got the period where you can negotiate the deal, but then now all of a sudden we can announce the deal, but then the deal can be finalized. But then before that, there's the period where it's like you can deal with your own team and then make moves. And of course, the teams can always make deals and always make moves, so that's never off the table. But we are, of course, like right around the corner from all that stuff happening. Post-draft as well, too, it gets a little bit more interesting because those picks are off the table in a different way, Chad. But now that they're on the teams as well, too, maybe there is a different value sort of assigned to the guys. So I don't know what names jump off the page as sort of the trade assets early, but I think because of the way they handled, obviously, the draft and their trading of their pick, the Pelicans are going to be an early storyline team for next year. Maybe just an immediate offseason storyline team as well, too, chat. Like, it's just going to be difficult to imagine that they're going to try to run. Maybe they honestly think that Queen and Zion are going to play together. Like, do they not think that Missy's a starting center at this point? Like, is that kind of it? Or, they think Derek Queen's going to be off the bench as well, too, early in his career. Like, the Zion contract, so he's got 3 years left, and they do still have some cap space, I guess, as well, too. So, you got 39, 42, 44 as well. Waive for remaining amounts. Oh, just waive him for $126 million. See you later, Zion. Hey, yo. Waive for specified amount. Waive and stretch. Hey, yo. Maybe Zion needs to stretch a little bit, Chad. I don't know if it's the contract or the hamstrings, but something needs to be stretching. But, hey, yo, pause. But those 3 guys, not that the versatility of Zion and Queen, like we were saying on draft night, couldn't necessarily play together, but it is still just a little bit of an awkward fit for 2025 to imagine all those guys playing together. And it doesn't necessarily seem like a lineup where, again, with the Spurs, with Fox and Castle and Harper, you go, is this actually the long-term trio that we're going to be focused on building around the team that's like ultimately going to win us the title? But it's still a team that could make sense as a fun team for next year. It just doesn't seem like the Zion, Derek Queen, Missy frontcourt is a lineup that could make a ton of basketball sense next year and be productive. And maybe they don't want that. Oh, chat! Judd Nelson, Rob Lowe head in the toilet. It is what it is. Sometimes you need to just freshen up, teach your kid teach your friend a lesson, I guess. Get him Rob Lowe. I mean, he definitely does his things to earn. I feel like not a lot of swirlies in movies, chat. Do we necessarily watch like a lot of, grade school comedies? Like, oh, this kid's getting bullied. This is happening. I don't even know what that list would be of like, the top movie swirlies, chat. But Rob Lowe, Judd Nelson to Rob Lowe in the swirly in the bathroom of St. Elmo's Fire, chat. Hey, yo, it is what it is. But sometimes you got to calm him down. So yeah, Zion. I guess again the thing would be the attractiveness now, like who is trading for Zion, I guess. But that's always seemed like such a tough thing to say, that there would never be anybody written off. And I feel like as well too, you're not always, especially now, the Pelicans aren't always balancing the public perception of what the trade would be. But if the consensus of the conversation is like, okay, this is maybe what they could get for Zion, and then, whatever is actually being negotiated for. Like, it feels like both of those, the expectation of a trade for Zion and what is actually negotiable in a trade for Zion, like, are just both in different places from where they were at in a couple years ago. And in the expectation being the different piece of it, where if a move was made, and maybe we do expect something, especially now because of just how many picks are thrown out in every deal. But I don't know if we necessarily expect the Pelicans to get like 4 first-round picks and 7 players back for Zion. They're not necessarily going to get the full-on haul. Like, you would still imagine it's obviously going to be a plus package that would help in resetting team building, but is it going to be the franchise type move? So $40 million, in the low 40s is not too bad. And the 3-point shooting thing has just not been like the stretch 4 is obviously definitely become a very, very valued thing, and some of the playmaking stuff as well too. But Zion's ability to space the floor from that spot where you're like, okay, we need him to be a 4 sometimes, but also move into the 5 role if we need him to be. Like, I don't know. Do the Celtics just take another swing, chat? Imagine if they hadn't traded Porzingis before draft night. If they knew the Pelicans were going to make a move like this, would they rather have Porzingis in that front line? Porzingis, Queen, and Missy instead of Zion, Queen, and Missy? They're like, okay, we're trying to be a good team. Then you reset the contract as well too. Porzingis is a expiring deal, and you go, okay, now we get some of the, now it's Murphy's team, Herb Jones, and again Missy and Queen, as well too, taking over. So I don't know if that would make a lot of sense. Now the Knicks, chat, they go back to their old ways of, can we get the star like a couple years after everybody would want to get him? And you probably wouldn't do Anunoby for Zion. There'd have to be some major picks in there. You'd probably have wanted that pick that they gave up for Queen, so you're not going to get that one. Is it going to get some of the swaps? But maybe a second contract could definitely bolster the trade as well too. How much stuff are the Pelicans going to give up to get Anunoby also becomes a question. I guess they're not afraid, chat. If they really like the guy, they really won't stop at anything to trade for the player. So that could be interesting. Bridges, for Zion, I just think that Zion's playing a different role in that team than what Bridges is playing. And there's not going to be another guy that they get back to sort of match that production. So, it doesn't make a lot of sense. The Raptors, chat. Colin Murphy's Boyles. I feel like, was that pick? They're like, that's it, chat. Hey, yo, we can't take another non-3-point shooter in 2025. We have to actually have floor spacing. I guess they took Grady Dick last year. Grady Dick, Jacoby Walter, and Colin Murphy Boyles is an interesting run. Again, I still believe in Scotty Barnes, but it's an interesting run of first-round picks. How long ago was Jacoby Walter drafted? Last year? 2 years ago? I feel like he was a lottery pick as well, too. Well, apparently the page won't load. For a guy, Jacoby Walter, not enough to get some stats on here. Hey, yo, chat. The disrespect for our guy, Jacoby Walter. Let's see. Oh, Ayo. The disrespect. Now we got the name wrong. Jacoby Walter. Okay, so he was a rookie last year. 2024 draft. So, yeah, then Grady Dick would have been a sophomore last year, 2 years ago. So, Dick and Walter back-to-back picks. Hey, yo. And then Murphy Boyles. It's an interesting 3-year run check. You're like, okay, is that a starting lineup in a couple of years? Murphy Boyles, Grady Dick, and Jacoby Walter. I mean, you never know. Murphy Boyles gonna have to make up a lot of defense for that backcourt, but maybe Walter and Grady are out there doing a lot of scoring. So you start packaging these guys. Brandon Ingram for Zion, chat. Whoa! Imagine the Pelican, the Raptor is like, hey, would you guys take Brandon Ingram for Zion? They're like, wait. Dumars is like, yeah, we love Brandon Ingram. The Pelicans people are like, wait a second, we just had him. What happened? But I don't know. I don't know if Dumars knows who's on the team before this, so maybe it'd be like a fresh start. He'd be like, no, it's a change of scenery for Brandon Ingram. Be good for him. The Sixers. Can we get Zion to play with Embiid? I mean, is this where you start? Like, I don't know if you'd start considering some Zion for Paul George type stuff, but you'd have to really get the assets back as well too to make that worth it. They don't have their pick in 2027, so they're gonna need to be good this year. I mean, obviously just for any reason, but there's no reason to tank next year where even the protection on their pick was like a secret reason that we need to tank. They don't just have a first-round pick. They had McCain last year. They take him in the middle of the first round, so if you're a middle of the first-round team, you could still talk yourself into the talent that you get there. But because of the protections, they had to tank just to be able to maintain their spot. So yeah, next year, there's really no reason to do that. But Paul George is a veteran on the Pelicans, chat. 35. You just traded away McCollum for Poole, who's clearly just getting a younger version of the player, the scoring sort of two-guard type guy, heat check type guy as well too. Though McCollum is a little bit more playmaky at times. But yeah, otherwise, outside of the Maxey contract, it doesn't look like they'd be able to necessarily get it done if they wanted to. Zion to Detroit, Zion to Milwaukee, Zion to Indiana is an interesting swing. If they want to say, like, could he power the team without Halliburton? Nembhard, $18 million a year. Toppin at $14 million a year. We also forgot about mentioned Toppin when we were talking about players that we'd be protecting in the draft. And in the expansion draft, who would necessarily get the lock from their teams? Like, you'd have to say after the way Toppin played in this, he'd get it as well too. So let's see here, chat. We got, see, I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can protect 8 guys. So yeah, if you leave Ben Shepherd, Furphy, and Walker, I mean, you could definitely argue Ben Shepherd or Furphy for drafting an expansion team. Ray J? Hey, yo, shout out Ray J. Dennis. But yeah, it seemed pretty easy to cap holds. Oh, Miles Turner. So I guess can you protect a free agent? Do we got pull those expansion rules back up, chat? Where's our Bogola Markovic career projection up? NBA expansion draft strategy. What did it say for the rules? Quick recap. Team protects 8 players. Rookies and recent draftees on rookie deals may automatically be exempt. Oh, rookie deal automatically exempt. Whoa. Usually vets, role players, bad contracts, or high upside gambles. Wait a second. All rookie deals exempt from the expansion draft? That doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem right. What about a second round picks? Can't take a second round pick in the expansion draft? What's going on there? Just doesn't feel like that should be totally off the rules, but I mean, I get it. So you're really limiting yourself. Maybe the WNBA just has better expansion rules as well too. I'm not saying the Valkyrie didn't build a great team. I'm just saying, maybe there's something to look at there for immediate competitive. See if you want to give that type of advantage. Speaking of which, chat, Phoenix, the Mercury up 4-8 on the Liberty. Quick little start here in the first quarter. We'll see what happens. Nate Tibbetts, chat, second year, I guess. What kind of game plan did he draw up? But I guess those are the only basic rules that it gave us. A hybrid of, this is the strategy. A hybrid of vets and young players, of course. So, okay, rookies and recent draftees are off the table. So, yeah, you wouldn't even have to necessarily protect Jarris Walker. Or maybe you would Matherin because team option this year. Maybe Walker as well, too. Shepard. I mean, Furphy, you're definitely, Furphy you don't have to worry about. But it seems like most of your team could be pretty safe. They do have, oh, chat, here we go. I was like, where can we find, who has the trade, the mid-level exception? So they have the non-taxpayer mid-level exception and the biannual exception as well, too. Do they use the taxpayer mid-level? Bob Myers was talking about that, but on the draft. And we should have taken notes. I didn't remember. Did he say they're more likely to use it because Halliburton's hurt or less likely? It's like, well, do we want to, because I don't know, year to year, like if you get it this year, do you have it next year? Wait, so it's applied when an incoming player has 4 or less years remaining on a contract, including a current one. Usable when a team is under the first apron prior to the trade. Oh, so this is a trade exception, I guess, not necessarily a contract thing that they would have. So a $12 million player trade exception, when does that expire? Does it say? I guess they just have a $2 million one that expires in... Or maybe it is just the non... I don't know, chat. It doesn't matter. It is what it is. They do have some tax space and some first apron space as well, too. So, like, a top-end for Neesmith would just be like, okay, do we think that team is the same when Halliburton gets back in 2 years? Do we get ahead of it by trying to get him into Zion? And then Zion